Hi, I'm Jessica Barbier, your host for the Cox OC Connection. Today we'll be talking about innovative and adventurous ways children are learning in our community through the wonderful nonprofit Inside the Outdoors. With us today from Inside the Outdoors, I am joined by Manny, that's on the board of directors, Yarib, and Briana. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Yarib, I'm going to just jump in with you and talk about if you can give us an overview of Inside the Outdoors.
So Inside the Outdoors is an environmental science program that is administered through the Orange County Department of Education. It started in 1974. We have actually 4 different programs that we run all throughout Southern California. So we have our outdoor science school where students go up to the San Bernardino Mountains, and in a residential setting they experience science and social experiences as well. We have our traveling scientists where we go out to schools and bring science in the classroom. And we have our day-long field trips where they come out to 13 locations in Orange County, and we take them hiking, bird watching, so science concepts that they learn in the classroom, and our community programs. So that's involving bringing the families along with the students that have participated in the past, trying to make that connection, bring everybody outdoors.
And how many students are you serving a year through these programs?
So this year we'll probably serve around 80,000 students throughout all our programs, and then along with the community programs, we'll probably serve about 100,000 people just this year alone.
And what's the age range of the students that you're working with?
We actually have programs from preschool up to high school programs. So we kind of teach the whole spectrum.
Touching them all.
Touching them all.
And
That's
speaking of students, Briana, you were a student that received services and experiences with Inside the Outdoors. Can you talk to us a little bit about your experience?
Definitely. So it all began my 6th grade year when I went to outdoor science camp, which was absolutely a phenomenal experience. And then my sophomore year in high school, the previous year our hills burned down in one of the local fires. So our project was we wanted to restore those hills. And so we were reconnected with Inside the Outdoors and Disney, and they were a huge help in helping us accomplish all our goals and a huge support through being able to do different projects throughout the years.
And I understand that you're a student representative. Is that experience what inspired you, or what inspired you to get more involved afterwards?
Definitely. Well, so I've always been, ever since I was a little girl, I knew the environment was what I wanted to be involved in, helping support it and save it. And Inside the Outdoors gave me avenues and outlets to be able to actually take action and do that.
And as a representative currently, what are you doing on a day-to-day basis?
Okay, so when I was in high school, we were able to be involved in a bunch of different projects, whether it was restoration days or helping present to Boys and Girls Clubs for Earth Days, or we were able to help volunteer in the D23 Expo. And then now that I graduated high school and am now in college, I'm able to serve as a mentor to the youth who have stepped up and taken over those leadership roles.
Well, good for you, and thanks for all of that you're doing for Inside the Outdoors and all the students in the community. Yarib, it's such an innovative way that you're teaching kids about science. Let's talk a little bit about STEM. Can you tell us what it's about and how you guys are involved with that aspect?
So STEM is a new movement where it's encouraging students to pursue science careers. So it stands for science, technology, engineering, and math. But Inside the Outdoors, we actually also incorporate the arts in there, so we call it STEAM. So in our field trips, outdoor experiences, we're taking these environmental concepts and bringing it to life in these hands-on activities that they're going to actually do on the field trips themselves. So they get to experience being a wildlife biologist, a geologist, a botanist, learning about plants, and these are the things that are going to encourage them to hopefully pursue these careers in the future.
And why do you think these programs are so important?
It's the hands-on learning. You know, these are the things that will help them remember these concepts. So as they pursue their careers or college, these are the things they're going to remember. So it's very important for these kids to have those hands-on activities.
And what are the kids doing when they go on the field trips?
So depending on the field trip, because we have so many different locations and grade levels, our main location in the Santa Ana Mountains, we have about 113 acres that we have there. So they can do some water testing. They learn about water conservation. We actually go hiking, learn about plant adaptations. We do some bird watching in Newport Beach as well. So everything local, adaptations of plants and animals as well. So a lot of different things, including history programs as well.
That's great.
Yes.
All encompassing.
Exactly.
Manny, let's get the perspective as a board member. What has your experience been like?
It's been very inspiring and very challenging. So I'm inspired by the creativity and the dedication of the staff and the impact that I've seen on the students, which I've had quite a few opportunities to see. Very inspirational. The challenge is that a lot of schools can't afford to participate in these programs, and so our role as a foundation is to raise the resources and raise the awareness of the need for these programs in the community, and that's quite a challenge. So we appreciate Cox kind of helping us get that message out, but those resources are needed each year, every year, and it's pretty surprising how much of a need there is in the community to generate the resources, enable these children to participate.
How long have you been on the board?
Since 2007.
Okay, and then what's the dynamic? How many members do you have, and what are the roles that the board members play?
We have, I think, 16, 17 board members currently, and there are a broad spectrum of representatives from our community to include quite a few Fortune 500 companies that are based in Orange County. I represent the Disneyland Resort. We have representatives from Cox, Wells Fargo, and a number of other major employers in the area. And they all represent kind of companies that are involved in corporate citizenship efforts and are interested in seeing STEM education and our children succeed. And so as companies, they have a lot of interest, and as individuals, each board member has a passion for the outdoors themselves and a passion for education.
And why did you specifically get involved with Inside the Outdoors?
I'm somebody whose life was changed by having access to programs like this. So I didn't grow up in Southern California. I grew up in a small rural town. My family didn't have much money. Our school didn't have a lot of money. So my opportunities could have been very limited by that. But I had two things going for me. I had teachers that would embrace the kinds of things that Inside the Outdoors does, and I got a chance to get exposure to some really innovative and hands-on learning experiences. And I had the outdoors. So I was outside all the time in nature's classroom and learned so much from that. Those experiences leveled the playing field for me and gave me the opportunity to go to some great schools and to work for some great organizations. So when I met some of the staff from Inside the Outdoors and found out that a lot of kids locally didn't have those same kinds of opportunities that I had, I wanted to be involved in changing that.
And it sounds like a perfect match. I feel a lot of times when you're looking for board members, you really want people that are personally connected to the mission and the values, and it seems like you definitely have that. They're lucky to have you. You're also the lead mentor for Inside the Outdoors Foundation, and it's a Youth Stewardship Council. Can you tell us a little bit about this?
So when we started working with high school students in the STEM programs, we saw the same thing over and over again. We saw some really motivated students with great ideas in these amazing projects, but all of them seemed to be working in isolation. We would hear over and again that they didn't know how to get started, they didn't know what to do. And as we met these different students, we thought, what if they were connected to each other? And they were all very interested in meeting other students that were doing the same thing. So we talked to the students, got a lot of input from them, and we wanted something really that the students could own and lead. And we formed the Youth Stewardship Council to connect these students to each other in the network so that they could work with each other, learn from each other, share best practices, share their noble failures, and have a showcase for their work. And along the way, it takes the STEM education that we're providing and adds to it some skills that are really important for that STEM education to be effective for them in their careers, which was networking with other people, learning to communication skills, learning project management skills. So through the Youth Stewardship Council, they're learning how they take that STEM education and turn it into real projects that are a benefit to their community. And along the way can celebrate with each other, can commiserate with each other, and just really connect with one another and reduce that isolation that so many students feel when they try to do something to change their community.
And how many students are currently serving on the council?
If we look at the schools that are represented, I think we have around 13 schools who are participating in one way or another. The core students that are representing the council right now, I think we have about 7 or 8 that are kind of the core, but they represent hundreds, if not maybe now thousands of students in the various schools, all of which are engaged in these STEM programs, and all of which are pursuing projects that will make change in their communities and really make that learning more effective.
And I'm sure phenomenal leadership development for these students.
Oh, they're leading me in many ways.
Learning something new every day, probably. Briana, what was it that happened that inspired the formation of the Youth Stewardship Council?
Okay, well, there were many times throughout the different environmental projects we all were working on where we were able to meet youth from other high schools and different instances, especially the Disney Kids in Nature celebration, where we got to go to Florida and meet youth from all around the world who are working on environmental projects. And it was always so inspirational to be able to hear their stories and share our stories, and a lot of times the similar themes of the struggles we were going through would come up, and so it would be really inspire us and inspire them as well to be able to commiserate, like what Manny was saying, and be able to know that, okay, like there's hope, we can still do it. And so that was kind of the basis of that. If we all get together and network and support each other as youth, then we can get our projects done.
And I'm sure those experiences molded you into the young college student you are today.
Absolutely.
Yarib, I know that Inside the Outdoors collaborates with a lot of different community partners out there. One of those is 10C, and you are working with them on an upcoming project for their MLK Days of Service. Can you tell us a little bit about what's going to be expected on this day?
So this project actually is going to be at Upper Newport Bay, which actually is one of the biggest wetlands we have in Southern California. So we'll have volunteers coming out there, and it's a restoration project. So we're putting things like native plants back in that area to make it look like the way it needs to be, which is a native wetland ecosystem.
And what other upcoming events do you have coming up?
So February 1st, we actually have a Get Outdoors OC event, which is actually at Upper Newport Bay at the Muth Center there. And then let's see, March 1st, we also have an Astronomy Night, and that's going to be at our main location in Santiago Canyon. And it's a great location to go stargazing there. So we'll lead some people on some hikes. We'll do some stargazing out there. It's a great program. May 3rd, actually, it's a nice celebration of our 40th year anniversary. So that's going to be a sunset picnic hike that we have there. That's, we're encouraging families to get out there. And it's great for us to have a celebration for 40 years of doing all the programs that we have.
Yes, congratulations.
Exactly, thank you. And then also May 17th is our Hike for Kids, which is going to be at Irvine Regional Park.
So you're not busy at all.
No, not at all, not at all.
And Manny, you had mentioned earlier that as a board member, one of your roles and responsibilities is really to drive that awareness and to help create funds so we can provide those funds for kids that can't afford these wonderful programs. So if anyone's watching at home, here's your sales pitch. Where can they go to get more engaged and maybe help donate and maybe sign up for Hike for Kids, I believe?
Hike for Kids, that's right.
Well, step one would be to contact us. So we're on the web. We have a Facebook presence and a Twitter presence. The website is Inside the Outdoors. That's all one word, .org, or call us at 714-708-3885. And don't just look us up, actually connect with us, and we'd love to talk to people about how their schools can get involved, how they can get involved, how their companies can get involved in this great work that Yarib is helping us do.
Well, I wanted to thank all three of you for taking time to sit down with us and share all the wonderful work that Inside the Outdoors is doing. And thanks for your commitment to the organization.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining us. And for you at home, thank you for joining us. To find out more information on our programming, please visit our website, cox3.com. And to find out what we're doing in the community, please visit cox-cares.org. Thank you.